Hey guys, it's me Chandra again. So today's video we'll do the preparation guide for Xilonen. As usual in here I will cover about her material, I will talk about the build itself, explain about her kit and talents, and discussing is she good or not, or maybe as good as other people already say, like broken, OP, something like that. And I will of course address a little bit with her with Kazuha, something like that. I will share whatever that I know. You can believe it or not, it's just really up to you, but I will share whatever that I know about her. So let's get started. So yeah, as usual in here, I usually read the first paragraph of the new character, so we kinda know the perspective of the dev, what they want to intend to do with the character itself. So in here they say like Xilonen is a support character, so again, she is support character that can provide multi-elemental res reduction, so she can reduce resistance reduction of the element itself. So also they mention that depending on the party composition, she can also deal damage while on field. So as they say like on some maybe cases, like some different teams, she can become main DPS or DPS. So quite interesting. Meaning like mostly support, but on some niche cases, she can become DPS, which is quite unique. And for the material, here's everything that she need. And of course, I will just show everything, the total accumulation of the material. Always thank you to Devil Takoyaki for providing all the total material. And now let's talk into her kit, which is, let's start with the normal attack. Basically the normal attack in the normal state, nothing really special. You can take a look in here, only unique. However, she has her own like normal attack while in the Night Soul state, which is in her skill. So in here you can see she attack with the Roller Blade, which is pretty much very cool to see. It perform up to 4 kicks and it scale on defense. And she cannot do charge attack, and it always deal geo damage that cannot be overridden. So let's say like C6 Bennett, she cannot take the advantage from that. And for Xilonen elemental skill and for the specifically about the traversal, she basically can climb the wall like this, but instead like Kachina, this is using Roller Blade. And the skill, I don't know what he put in here, but the skill is basically scale of defense. So yeah, remember that. And for her elemental skill, Yokwal Scratch, this is the main gimmick of her. So the one that we want to pay attention is the rest reduction that you already probably hear. So basically the most important in her skill is this triangle stuff. So how this triangle stuff is works, I think this is the very good presentation that I already did. So this 3 triangle, it's called sampler, and she always have this 3 sampler, and it's always geo by default, like meaning it's always look like yellow like this. If you just put, let's say, Xilonen or alone or mono geo, something like that. However, if you decide to put other like character in your party, that Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, or Electro, so 4 of these, so Anemo and Dendro will not include in here, so have to be this 4 element character, and it will change like this. So in here, the example they show like they put Cryo element, they put Pyro and Electro character in here in a team. So they become like this. And when you take a look, this is already after activation. You can see the difference is that before activation, this is only blank triangle. This is already filled triangle itself. So whenever it's activated, it will decrease the corresponding elemental resistance to the opponent itself. So let's say in here, it has Cryo, Pyro, and Electro, right? When it's already activated, it will already have reduction for the elemental resistance from the Cryo, Pyro, and Electro. And then you can get this like resistance reduction threat by 36% at the maximum at C0. So that's actually pretty nice, 36%. And to be precise, how you will activate this resistance reduction effect, it's just actually very easy. You need at least 2 from these 4 elements. So let's say you can go like Pyro, Pyro, Hydro, or Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, that's also can, or Pyro, Electro, Electro, that's also fine. And afterwards, you use elemental skill and of course enter the Night Soul Blazing like this, then you just do 2 normal attack and it will result to full Night Soul point like this. When the bar full, it will activate the resistance reduction. This is actually the very good example. You can take a look. Basically they have like this already like 2 party, right? And do skill normal attack 2 tap, see, full already filled. You can take a look again like here, see, blank, 2 normal attack, full. So they already have this elemental resistance of Cryo, Pyro, and then Electro reduced to the opponent, which is very convenient. And forgot to mention why this is actually so good, because this can work even Xilonen off-field. So basically, on-field, off-field doesn't matter. The elemental resistance will always works. And for the elemental burst, it's actually very simple. It's just like Xilonen dealing AoE geo damage based on her defense. So the scaling everything is defense. However, she has further effect, which is first, you can get healing from her after you perform this elemental burst, and it will heal the active character at the interval. So it's similar like Bennett. It's not heal everyone. It's only like active character itself. And then it require at least 2 source sample that have the elemental type change. So meaning this is similar like this. You need like this one like 2 different. You cannot just go like mono geo like this. However, if you go let's say like mono geo or the sampler is less than 2, maybe you only go like triple geo and 1 maybe hydro, you will get the bonus damage. So you will get 2 additional instead nitro element AO geo damage. So it depends on your party team comp. You either will get healing. So if you go with let's say pretty much to play vaporize, then you will probably much will get healing. But if you go let's say like mono element, let's say like Arlecchino, Xiangling and maybe like Dia, and you put Xilonen on the last slot, then you will get this bonus damage instead of healing. So yeah, that's pretty much just it about Xilonen Kit. Overall, her kit is pretty simple. Like TLDR, like basically just put any 2 from these 4 elements in your team for your Xilonen itself in a team. And then you just use skill and do normal attack 2 times and you get this title full and it's real field. Yeah, you already activate the resistance reduction itself. And for the burst, basically it just depends. You can get healing if you go with a team comp like this, like 2 different elements from these 4. Or if you go like let's say mono element, you will get this bonus damage instead from your burst. Yeah, overall her kit is actually mostly as a support. I know some of you already say like similar like Kazuha, and yes, it's very similar like Kazuha. But here's actually the real deal. Like other people say like she's broken, she's OP, she's Kazuha level, blah blah blah. Is it true or not? Then yeah, I will just share everything in here because people from other content creators already have like early access. I can just tell whatever that I don't know about her. So overall, she's actually very good character. She's indeed Kazuha level, but the things I want to highlight in here that she does things a little bit different than Kazuha. This is people overlook, just say like she's Kazuha 2.0 or something like that. Yes, technically, but not in specific way. Because I will give you an example. Xilonen offer also things that Kazuha cannot do, and Kazuha offer things that Xilonen cannot do. You understand what I mean? They're similar, but they're doing different things too also in the same time. So it's similar like Yelan and Shinjo itself. They kind of similar, but they do also have their own stuff. So in here, the thing that I want to highlight is that Xilonen is very good because first, she can heal. Kazuha cannot heal. That's the main difference. And also Kazuha is very good compared to Xilonen because Kazuha can do crowd control. So let's say like in the freeze team where usually we're dealing with AoE, Kazuha usually become better because she can do crowd control. Xilonen cannot. So that's why Kazuha can be better in the freeze team scenario. However, if you're facing the scenario where swirl cannot be reliant because maybe it's kind of like Hydro tool, but you always swirl Hydro, then Xilonen can be better because Xilonen's threat is very dependent on the team comp itself. It doesn't like you have I have to make sure to apply element of this and I have to swirl with this one. No, this one Xilonen doesn't need. And also Xilonen can heal. So for some team, let's say like Furina, then Xilonen can be better compared to Kazuha because he can help for Furina to get fanfare stack. And the thing that also I want to highlight about her, that developers say that she can become like somehow like DPS. And I can say yes, but I want to highlight in here, her number is not great. She can do that, it is possible, you can clear Spiral Abyss for sure, but you will feel very mid. From my meaning of very mid, it's worse than most probably like even Risley, Chlorine, Navi. It will feel much worse, but it's possible, you can clear it. It's not great, but it's possible. So in end of the day in here, the one that if you really confused like what Kazuha and Xilonen, I will just put chart in here and I will put the comparison. So the one thing that I want to main highlight in here, that the role itself, then you can take a look and how long is the buff. Like Xilonen is basically longer in terms of buff, and then like crowd control future Xilonen doesn't have, but Kazuha have. And something like you can just take a look in here for the chart to get you have better idea about those two characters. But in the end of the day, both of these characters is very good. So in the end, if you decide to pull any from one of these two, it's already a good choice. I don't think you will mess up at all because both of these characters is very good. And in here, because Xilonen is a main highlight, and if you ask me, is she actually become one of the best character in this game? In my opinion, yes. She's indeed one of the best character, or at least one of the best support in this game for in a while. Which is probably last time is what, Furina, and Furina just because she is Archon, but she is typical like non-Archon that have the treatment of Archon, I can say. She's actually really that great. It's not that people like overhype. Probably maybe really overhype a little bit too much, like when bro OP must pull. I don't think she is must pull, because I always say like Genshin Impact, it's not typical game that you really have to pull certain character. Like I already say, even you don't use Kazuha, you just use Sucrose, you are fine, because people underestimate Sucrose so much, like something like that. But she is indeed very good. I don't think she is must pull, but she is one of the best character for me. And in the end, maybe some of you say like, what if I already Kazuha, should I pull for Xilonen, something like that? In the end, I say it's back again on your own, because I already told you there's no such a thing that in Genshin Impact is must pull. If you still feel like you still need support, then sure, you can pull. But if you feel like you don't need anymore, then yeah, you don't need it. And let's move to the weapon section, and let's start first with the 5-star weapon. For the 5-star weapon, the best one is her signature, which is Big Petrol Song, because its scale of defense, it's good for damage, and for the healing itself, it also gives buff of elemental damage bonus to the whole party itself, which is already very good. However, other than that, if you want to focus as a support build, you can go for Freedom Sword. I know the EM will not useful, but at least this weapon have effect of buffing like teammates, right? So that's why this is good for buffing. However, if you want to focus a little bit into giving damage, you can also equip Uraku Mitsugiri, because it gives you critical damage, will increase like skill damage and improving defense, which can make her personal DPS can become higher. For the 4-star weapons, also very depends on what is your pet. I will discuss first. If you decide to just go fully support, then first weapon you can go, which is Fafanius Sword, because this is give you energy recharge, help you to able to do elemental burst every single rotation. Also, it will give you more energy particle to whole team, which is pretty much good to help like the another character that lack of energy. Other than that, if you want to focus more about healing and her a little bit personal damage, you can go the free-to-play weapon, which is the one that you can craft Flute of Aspitzel. I hope I pronounced correctly, because it gives you defense as a scaling for the stat, and also the effect pretty good, using elemental skill increase defense. However, also similar, if you have baby Cinnabar Spindle, you can use this. They both serve the same purpose. And let's move to the artifact section, and let's start first with the artifact sets. There's a couple of artifact sets that good for Xilonen. However, with the low constellation of Xilonen, usually we want to use her as a support. That's why the best in general for her artifact set will be the Scroll of the Hero Cinder City, because this is very good, that can only trigger by Natlan character. 2-piece will give you elemental energy. 4-piece, when you trigger elemental reaction, will give you elemental damage bonus for the whole party. Especially if you in the Night Soul state, it will give you even more elemental damage bonus to your whole party itself, which is very good support set. However, if you don't have that set yet, then you can just go with the 4-piece of Noblesse Oblige. Although in the end, I still recommend for you to try to farm for this Cinder City, because it's just too good compared to Noblesse. If you want to focus more as a Xilonen DPS, this is mostly niche, because her lower constellation, her DPS is relatively like below the average DPS. It's still possible, but not really that great, but you can still do that. So if you want to focus on DPS, you can go with Obsidian Codex. This is just good for Natlan character, basically will give you a bunch of crit rate. Other than that, you can go with the standard Geo build, which is the Husk of Opulent Dreams. 2-piece will give you defense, will be useful for Xilonen, and also this is will give you more like geo damage and defense to your Xilonen, which is will increase her DPS. For the main set, there's a couple options that you can go. First, if you assuming you already have enough energy recharge, that you feel you don't need energy recharge anymore, you can just go with the defense sense, because this is good for her healing and also her damage. However, if you find still struggle with the energy regeneration itself or energy recharge, just go with the ER sense. This can help you to make like smoother rotation. As for the Goblet itself, it's also depends. If you just want to focus healing and damage in the same time, just go with defense. However, if you just care more about like giving damage, then you can go with the geo damage bonus. This is mostly as a DPS Xilonen. For the circle, there's a couple options it can go. In general, just go with the defense circle, because both is good for her personal damage and also her heal. However, if you don't care about her damage at all and just care about healing, then just go with the healing bonus circle itself, because it can maximize her heal. And if you care only about become DPS Xilonen, then you can go with the crit rate or crit damage, depending it's what you need. For the subset, prioritize energy recharge, defense percentage, and after that crit rate and crit damage. For the team bomb for Xilonen, because she's so similar like Kazuha, her team bomb is actually very wide, a lot of different options you can go. So in here, only couple of the sample that I give you to you, not all of the meta, some of them just for fun. So I'll start first like Xilonen in Vaporize in general, which you can go with, let's say Arlecchino in here. Just pretend Kachina is Xilonen, okay? Xilonen, Xincho, or even you want to use Yelan, it's also fine. And then after that, Bennett. If you don't want to use Bennett in here, you can also change with also Kazuha itself. So Kazuha and Xilonen like team up each other. Or you don't want like use Vaporize, you can just go with the Mono Pyro, just put Xiangling, that also can in here. And this is also pretty much also with work with Hu Tao variation, but instead of this one, just use Kazuha instead. So it can works too, or just like double Hydro. So it can just work like another like Hu Tao variation, it can work. Other than that, Navia team itself. So Navia, Xilonen, Xiangling and Bennett, you can go the team like this. And another thing, you can go like Mualani team. This is also pretty much good. You can go with Mualani, Kachina, Xiangling, and Dia in here. Other than that, you can just change also with Neuvillette. It also can work. Basically, they are all like shareable, like this type of format. And another thing is like Raiden with Xilonen, which is Raiden like national, international variation. So Raiden, Xincho can always change with Yelan, of course. After that, Xiangling, and of course in here you use Xilonen. And afterwards, Ganyu melt or other melt variation, this is can work. One of sample I put in here, Ganyu, of course. So Ganyu, Xilonen, Xiangling, and Bennett. And for the Xilonen, if you want to make DPS, this is not really optimal, but this is can work. At least if you have Goro C6, it can help to become a little bit better because Goro can heal. So this is basically like main DPS Xilonen if you want to go. So really recommend if you have C6 Goro. If not, I don't really recommend. And yeah, that's pretty much it about Xilonen. Overall, I say Xilonen is very omnipotent character. I also very surprised, but like, when you first do character like this good for non-Archon, what a surprise. I literally very surprised. Because she can do like basically support, of course, the main thing. But can heal, that's also very good like stuff. And also can become main DPS. You can try actually the non-optimized team for her in main DPS. Even at C0, you can try like C6 Goro, I recommend, especially when we have C2 Furina, so you don't really need so much heal. And after that, put Shiori, maybe Albedo. She actually can perform quite good as a main DPS. It's still mid, but at least, hey, that's quite impressive for me. And the things that I like in here is the quality of life of her, that you don't need to care about like, oh, what element that should I swirl? For people like we can say like skill issue or very casual, this is actually very helpful because you don't have to think like, what element that I need to swirl. You don't need to think. You only need to put the right party tip comp, and then that's it. The strat already activate, which is, I say, it's quite ridiculous player. This is a huge like helping quality of life. So this character is actually very good. I say one of the best character, but in the end, I already told you, don't feel FOMO to pull, because in the end, I told you Genshin Impact is no typical game that you have a characteristic like a must pull character for me. I don't think. I only say like very good, very recommended, but I never say like must pull in the end. In the end of the day, just follow whatever that you like with your preferences. So yeah, if you like this video, feel free to hit the support button and like, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.